In the year 2000, physicist Dr. Ning Li invited reporters from Popular Mechanics into her Huntsville laboratory and made an impossible claim. She showed them a 12-inch metallic disc and stated she could completely cancel out gravity, leaving an object resting perfectly still in midair above it. This diagram illustrates her core physics. According to Li, if you spin ions at more than a quadrillion times per second, each one generates its own tiny gravitational field. Line them up perfectly, and those fields combine into a single vertical column of energy projecting upward, effectively neutralizing gravity for anything caught inside it. The establishment took notice immediately. Private investors tried to buy control of her technology, and the British defense contractor BAE Systems quietly launched its own parallel anti-gravity initiative. Shortly after, the U.S. Defense Department awarded Li's company a nearly $500,000 grant. Then the public record went totally dark. She didn't vanish physically. She simply started driving to the Redstone Arsenal military base every morning under a top-secret clearance. The U.S. government denied her permission to leave the country, even to attend her mother's funeral, locking her into the classified sector until a car accident left her with permanent brain damage. Dr. Ning Li's experience highlights a persistent friction between public science and national security. Her story suggests that when a breakthrough threatens to reshape the physical world, the researcher often ceases to be an independent scientist and becomes a classified asset. We are taught that scientific progress is a highly visible, celebrated climb. The accepted narrative is that when a brilliant mind discovers something new, they publish papers, win awards, and push humanity forward in the open air. The historical record is much colder. When researchers unlock mechanics like anti-gravity or zero-point energy, they are systematically erased. An advanced machine can always be reverse-engineered or destroyed, but the intellect that conceptualized it can build another. The mind itself is the ultimate threat. The process begins with Phase 1, discredit and isolate. If an intelligence agency identifies a highly capable mind that they cannot directly control, their first move is to dismantle that person's professional credibility. Take Jack Parsons. He helped invent the solid rocket fuel that eventually powered the space shuttle, and he was so brilliant that he walked into Caltech and secured a job without a college degree. But Parsons was also deeply involved in occult societies, conducting bizarre rituals like the Babylon working in his Pasadena mansion. This unorthodox lifestyle gave the FBI the exact leverage they needed to investigate him, revoke his security clearance, and ban him from the aerospace field he helped build. Stripped of his institutional backing, Parsons ended up mixing movie explosives in his garage. In 1952, a highly unusual chemical explosion ripped through his floorboards, killing him at the age of 37, and ensuring his advanced chemical knowledge died with him. 6 years later, astronomer Morris K. Jessup stumbled into a similar trap. He received detailed letters claiming the Navy had successfully tested electromagnetic teleportation on the destroyer escort USS Eldridge at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in 1943. Jessup initially dismissed the claims as fiction, but officers at the Office of Naval Research took a sudden, intense interest in his annotated notes. The military's validation of this fringe theory pulled Jessup into an isolating spiral of paranoia, costing him his marriage and his publishing career. By 1959, Jessup was found dead in a station wagon in Florida from carbon monoxide poisoning. The setup was meticulously staged with a wired hose and airtight wet racks, executed without a legally required autopsy. Phase 1 ensures that even if a mind cannot be controlled, psychological warfare and highly suspect suicides guarantee their research goes no further. When a genius proves too valuable to merely discredit, the system moves to Phase 2, the black hole. Here, the individual and their research are entirely absorbed into the classified apparatus, vanishing from the public timeline entirely. In 1980, Chinese biochemist Peng Jiamu was conducting research in Lop Nor. This was a highly restricted nuclear weapons test site, yet Peng held top-level clearance to wander the militarized zone and could summon Army helicopters by telegram, access that goes far beyond standard biological surveying. During the expedition, Peng walked into the 145-degree desert to find water and never returned. The Chinese government launched a massive response, deploying fixed-wing aircraft and hundreds of soldiers to comb 4,000 kilometers of terrain. They found absolutely no physical trace of him. Immediately after the search failed, the state sealed off the entire Lop Nor site. Rumors poured out of military channels, suggesting Peng had uncovered an ancient technology capable of duplicating biological matter, a discovery the government aggressively suppressed while declaring him permanently missing. Through absolute classification and manufactured disappearances, any physics-breaking discoveries are surgically removed from civilian hands and transferred strictly to the shadow timeline. Isolation and classification take time. When the shadow apparatus faces the immediate threat of public exposure, they escalate to Phase 3, the purge. The catalyst for this phase arrived in February 2026, when a presidential mandate ordered the Pentagon to begin releasing government files regarding unexplained aerial phenomena and advanced aerospace retrievals. Exactly 8 days after that order, retired Air Force Major General Neil McCasland vanished from his New Mexico home, leaving his phone and wallet behind. McCasland had run the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson, managing a $2 billion portfolio of exotic propulsion and alleged crash debris. This timeline tracks a sudden wave of disappearances. 2 months prior, MIT plasma physicist Nuno Loureiro was shot at his front door. That same February, Caltech astronomer Carl Gomme was targeted by a gunman on his porch. Shortly after, NASA materials scientist Monica Raza vanished from a hiking trail. By April, the count had reached 11 dead or missing scientists. Every single one of these victims worked in highly overlapping next-generation disciplines. They were leading experts in magnetic reconnection, infrared space surveillance, and superalloy metallurgy. This was an 8-month decapitation strike. Facing forced disclosure, the apparatus systematically eliminated the handful of civilian experts capable of analyzing and reverse engineering the classified hardware about to be made public. Skeptics point to the math. With over 1 million Americans holding top-secret clearances, at any given time, statistical probability dictates that thousands of them will die over the years from accidents, natural causes, and violent crime. This chart isolates the 11 missing experts. The specific cluster does not reflect a random distribution of clearance holders. It isolates a tiny fraction of minds working exclusively on advanced propulsion and reality manipulation. Constitutional lawyer Daniel Sheehan describes this pattern as the work of a covert circle of retired officials from the Department of Defense, the CIA, and private aerospace. They operate outside of congressional oversight, acting as the gatekeepers of human progress. Their philosophy is ruthlessly pragmatic. A classified hard drive or a physical spacecraft is largely useless without the precise human intellect required to understand and iterate upon it. The real crown jewels of the black budget are the scientists themselves. To this covert circle, a sudden leap toward unlimited clean energy, or gravity cancellation, is not a victory for mankind. It is an immediate, existential threat to the current global power structure and to their monopoly on power. The history of innovation is curated. Until this shadow apparatus is fully exposed and dismantled, the brilliant minds that are meant to guide humanity into its next phase will simply continue to vanish in the dark.